Hi there, Simone IFS practitioner and coach. Today, I wanted to share with you one of my personal favorite little rituals that I do on a regular basis, just as a self check in practice. So sometimes I will do this as part of my meditation. Sometimes I will do it when I have been triggered by something and I'm having a bit of a response, or maybe when I'm feeling a little bit worried or concerned about something. So we often talk about these parts of ourselves. Maybe there's a part that feels angry, or a part that feels frustrated, or a part that feels sad. These are all what we call an internal family system of parts. And this is what IFS work is. So when I do the self check in, I like to start with checking in on myself, on what are my parts that are showing up right now and what attention do they need. So when we talk about a family, it might show up that we have anxiety, and that anxiety maybe makes us shift into anger where we snap at somebody. And then after that, there is a feeling of shame and embarrassment. And here we have a little family of parts that are working together. So what the first step in my little ritual that I like to do is sometimes I put my hand on my heart and I just check in to see what parts are showing up right now. What parts in me can I feel coming to the surface? And sometimes there are physical feeling in my body that will then lead me to that part. Sometimes I just know, oh, there's a lot of anger here. And really, what I'm doing is just checking in and asking, what is it that you want me to know right now? That's one of the first questions I ask. What do you want me to know? And then, how can I help you today? Is another thing. Or what do you need from me today? And that is just us slowing down and checking in on our internal system, because usually we just don't want to be there and we distract and we numb it out. But if we can just slow down and first check on our parts, see what's showing up and ask them what they want us to know, or what do they need from us right now. And that little process can be really powerful on its own, just doing that. The second part that I do as my ritual is built out over time is to check in with what we call exiled parts, or these younger child parts that often these protecting parts trying to look after. So if you've done work with inner child, you know that it's really, really important that we keep checking in on our younger self, because often they are actually what is causing us to respond like we are. So after I've done my self check-in, I'll check in with my younger self and see whatever comes forward. It might be, from that 1 to 7 age. It could be a teenage part that's a teenage self, but usually more often than not, it's quite a young part. And I will do the same thing. I'll just check on her and say, what are you feeling right now? What do you need from me right now? But I really spend some time validating and seeing and hearing that younger self part. So often our role is to really reparent this younger part in ways that maybe they never were in the past. Maybe they never felt seen or heard, or they felt alone or unloved or afraid that they would lose those people that they loved. So coming in as that really reassuring person for them, that go-to person, and you might hold them, you might just tell them, you're amazing, I've got your back, I love you, I see you, you're allowed to be sad, you're allowed to be angry, giving them permission for things that maybe they weren't allowed to be, and just giving them that time and really helping them to come on board and feel safe for whatever you're doing in your present life right now. So we move from the present into the child past. And another addition, if you really want to go deeper, and this is just something that I've brought into my practice over the years, especially as I've dived deeper into IFS, is checking on my legacy parts. Okay, so that is parts of ourselves that aren't even visible right now or even from this lifetime. It's parts that we have inherited through the generations. And these can be both burdens and they can be gifts. So that is maybe up one of our maternal lines or paternal lines. It's intergenerational burdens that have been carried, and they could be, burdens that were carried around money, around race, around not being able to express grief, around, hardships, abuses, all kinds of things that run through these lines. And I know I might be sounding a little bit woo-woo for some of you, but if you're wanting to do a deeper ritual, it's a really beautiful practice that we also invite in some of our ancestors. And I often invite in my maternal line, my grandmother, great grandmother, and I ask them as well. It's like, what do you need from me right now? And, how can you also support and help me? I often call on them in that respect as well. But when we're doing the deep internal family system work, sometimes we discover that we are carrying things that aren't even ours. They're actually burdens that have been in generations before. And we work through being able to unburden them and to create more freedom and to heal some of these things in the past that were never able to be healed. So it's really nice to include these parts into our daily ritual or practice. So that might be something that you already do. It might be quite new to you. You might want to have little reminders to do this, maybe little photos of your child self somewhere if you have an altar or just on the fridge, and even some of your ancestors, your grandmothers or grandfathers or great grandparents, just to remind you that we want to honor all of these parts. We want to honor the parts that we don't even like because they're doing an important role for us. They're protecting something younger usually. And we want to honor our younger inner child, our exile parts, and we want to honor these legacy parts that also have made us who we are. So I'd love to hear how you find that ritual. If you connect in with any of these parts as part of your ritual. And if you've got any questions, just let me know, Simone at simondenny.me, and or comment below.